Our thriller opening is called Noose. Our thriller is about a young male in his 20s that suffers from schizophrenia, and he is also a frequent drug user. In the thriller, he has previously done drugs and is hallucinating and having flashbacks from when he killed a young boy and tried to kill himself after. Shooting material appropriate to task. For our thriller, we wanted to find somewhere that would create a sense of enigma on its own. We can see this through our opening sequence. We show the protagonist running away from something in the woods. We then show a close-up of his face, looking very scared and worried. This is common in thriller films. What could have been improved in our thriller was the use of setting. We didn't use as much as we could of the woods to show the audience where the character is. Controlled use of camera. Our thriller looks similar to other thriller openings. They usually start in darkness with eerie, non-diegetic soundtrack that creates suspense in the audience. The shots we used have been picked as they are ones that most show the surroundings, his tense facial expression, other characters' body language and facial expression. We use a tripod for the majority of our film because it creates a better, clearer shot. We decided not to use much handheld camera work because we have edited the scenes to seem disorientated. If we used handheld as well, it would make the audience very disorientated and look bad. Attention to framing. I think we did well with choosing where to place the characters in the frame. A good example of this is the close-up shots on the protagonist's face in the woods. This is when he is having a hallucination flashback and thinks someone is trying to get him. I think this is a good shot because he is positioned at the side of the camera so we can see his facial expression and the setting behind him. I believe this creates suspense because the audience is waiting for something to happen in the corner of the shot. We placed the protagonist in the middle of the frame for most of our thriller because he is the centre of attention. However, I think we could have used more variation to create even more disorientation for the audience, as well as our editing techniques variation. Variety of shot sizes. In our thriller, I think we used many different shot sizes. We used close-ups, extreme close-ups, long shots and medium shots. The range of shots will make the film more interesting and keep the audience interested. Using a variation of shots in the scene can disorientate the audience. We choose not to use too many shot sizes in one scene because the way we edit our film will disorientate. I think we could have used more shots close up on the protagonist's eyes to show his intense emotion. I think we could have used more shot types on the dead body so the audience could see what happened better. Attention to mise-en-scène. We put a lot of thought into the mise-en-scène of our thriller. I believe that the makeup and costume is key in portraying a character. I think our makeup and costume for the protagonist went well because he looks like he has recently done drugs. The setting was also good because the woods can represent fear and being lost like our protagonist is. However, if we filmed at night or evening, it would have made the setting even better as darkness represents fear as well. As you can't see what's around you, filming at night wouldn't be safe or practical as there wouldn't be natural light. The character's costume was good because he looked like he doesn't care about his appearance and doesn't put effort into it. I think that the dead male character could have been improved by using better fake blood. The blood we used was quite runny and real blood is much redder and thicker. The makeup could also have been done better as he would be pale and blue, as the actor wasn't pale like our main character. Editing some meaning is apparent to viewer. When it came to the editing, we had to be careful not to overuse some of the effects. We wanted to make it clear to the viewer that the protagonist was having hallucinations and flashbacks without confusing or disorientating our audience. I think our editing went successfully. It's clear that the protagonist has issues with mental health, and with the makeup, it's clear he has also done drugs. Therefore, having the effects over the video will show that he is having a hallucination or mental breakdown. We made chase scenes fast-paced by using cuts rather than fades. However, we did use a wipe at the beginning scene outside the hospital. I think this works well and overall makes the scene seem professional. However, I think we could have made the thriller clearer when editing by using on-screen text that shows the time difference or something similar. When showing the past or flashbacks, You have to be careful when showing a difference, as sometimes it can be confusing for the audience to tell the difference. However, overall, I think the editing worked well with our mise-en-scène and in making the meaning apparent. I think to improve our film, we could have used a disorientating effect from his point of view. Recording and editing sound with images appropriately. I think our sound editing could have been better. Our soundtrack in the running scene wasn't exactly what we wanted. We searched many royalty-free music sites, but we couldn't find something to match it perfectly. I think this was because the songs on royalty-free sites were instrumental, which we decided wouldn't fit the genre and scene, and some were dramatic, which also didn't fit the idea we had in mind. However, in the end, we did find a song we were reasonably happy with. We had an issue matching the breathing from GarageBand to match the characters' breathing when filmed. We found it hard because the breathing on GarageBand was much faster than the actors. It wouldn't have been so bad if we couldn't see the character's chest moving at his breathing rate. If you were to refilm this, I would make the actor breathe faster and not shoot it in a mid-close-up shot. We also had a similar problem with the actors' footsteps not matching the GarageBand ones. Next time I would record the sounds on set and edit them after. What I think well was the eerie, non-diegetic sounds at the beginning. I think this creates suspense early on. Conclusion. Overall, I think that our thriller was quite good. I think the mise-en-scène worked very well with the narrative. However, there are many little changes we could have made to make it even better.